Well, this is me again hiding in the basement make a video on current events. Recently, we had New Zealand had a mass shooting, and now they're moving towards stripping the personal ownership of firearms away from its people. Australia did the same thing a number of years ago for the same reason. And then Canada just made it more difficult to own a firearm, especially Pacific types. We understand the difference between the United States, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, who are all at once part of the British Empire. They were what was called under the British realm. Well, when they separated from England, New Zealand, Canada, and Australia basically retained the features of a realm. Okay, a realm is an area of your domination, which means you dominate the area and its people. Essentially, there are no personal rights. There's understandings. Okay, and anything you might remotely call a right is granted or taken by the government. The Constitution of Canada is basically a combination of legal precedents, as is New Zealand, as is Australia. The things that they have are given by two different routes, legislatively or by court rule. So in order to remove them, all we need is a legislative act or ruling from a court to change it. Unlike the United States, it was originally set up as a constitutional republic. It no longer is a constitutional republic. Anybody who studies history will understand why I make that statement. But anyway, we have a constitution. It's the highest law in the land. It is by design difficult to change. So it can't be changed on a whim or changed around in circumstances like what's happening in New Zealand and happened in Australia and all that, where an occurrence happens and all of a sudden, boom, everything's changed. There's a regulatory effect, okay? I mean, the states can have a convention and change the constitutions. It can come from Congress, and it has to have 2/3 of the states' approval. And that's the kind of thing it takes. Now, the thing of it is, I said the word realm in reflection of Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. Okay, and that the people derive anything they have by the government. In the United States, we are considered, the thing of it is, in these other countries, these people are actually subjects of the realm. They may not say that, they may not acknowledge that, but when you break it down, they are subjects of the realm. In the United States is the one country, as a former British Empire, that recognizes personal liberties. It recognizes that the human being is sovereign in himself, and the government the authority of the government is derived by the consent of the people. Doesn't seem that way a lot of times, does it? But that is the theory. So, in order for us to change something that's considered a constitutional right, we have to go through this very long, drawn-out process. In the case of firearms, the Second Amendment, people are saying we need to get rid of the Second Amendment. Well, the fact of the matter is, you're going to have 2/3 of the states in the United States to agree with that. That ain't going to happen. Okay? And if I would say that we got rid of all the rights and everything was granted by the government in the same way as Canada, New Zealand, and Australia, okay, then I have to be subject to, hey, look, in Canada, in England, if you say something against homosexuality, they call it hate speech and put you in prison. Doesn't happen in the United States. Why? Because we have the First Amendment. Okay? All the amendments are equally important, even though they're not going to quarter soldiers in your house. It's equally important. Right now we have a battle between, First Amendment and Second Amendment. But anyway, that's the difference between the United States, Canada, and New Zealand. They are still realms. Okay, they're not under the realm of the English crown anymore, but they are still basically realms. The people that are in these countries, that live in these countries, are subjects of the realm. Okay, and they're subject to the domination of the ruling powers. Okay, unlike us, where the ruling powers are restrained by our Constitution, and that's why we need to preserve our Constitution at all costs. We can go through a lot of rough things and handle things in different ways, but we have to preserve all the constitutional amendments. I mean, all the Bill of Rights intact, okay, including the one that says rights not listed there, which is the Ninth Amendment. It says that Bill of Rights is not all-inclusive. You have other rights other than what is specifically stated there. But these rights are absolutely critical, and we must maintain them. Okay, that's what I got. Give me some feedback if you want. And I'm going to go make some ammo now. Bye.